the feature-length adaptation of Dora the Explorer has hit theaters, so let's talk about it. City. So I went into this movie having never seen an episode of Dora the Explorer. I mean, the show debuted when I was 18 years old, so I never sat down to watch it on my own, and it's just not a show that my children have ever watched. So I went in with a clean slate, took my kids to go see it, just hoping to have a fun family adventure. But before I give you my take on it, go ahead and tell me what you thought down below in the comment section, and of course, give me some context. Have you seen the Dora the Explorer TV show, and how do they compare? Because I really have no clue. With that said, let's start talking about the good. And the best thing about this movie is that it's just a big adventure film in the jungle for kids. I mean, it's Indiana Jones, sure, except aimed at elementary school children. I mean, you've got the chases, you've got the humor, you've got kind of the puzzles that have to be solved. In which case, it's easier for me as a parent to consume entertainment like this that is an adventure film. It's a child's version of things that I enjoy otherwise. And a big reason that the movie works here is because of the main cast here. Isabella Moner is just fantastic. Is Dora here. She's so optimistic, so cheery, but at the same time, when she has those moments of kind of being heartfelt and like her self-awareness of kind of her persona and how she's perceived by people, she's able to pull off that emotion without sacrificing who the Dora character is. But she's up for the adventure side of things. She's up for just kind of being smiley in all situations. I mean, she anchors the film really well. And then sprinkled all throughout it, Michael Pena and a bunch of other people that are just fun to kind of fill out the cast a little bit. Some of the other teenagers, I mean, it's very much Nickelodeon, Disney Channel style acting, but for the movie that you're watching, it fits well enough. And I mean, I think that's kind of the key thing here, is that it's a movie that's trying to entertain a certain audience, and I think it does that pretty well. It's not the best adventure movie for children. It's not the best family movie of all time, but it delivers enough of what it's supposed to, and it keeps throwing things out there to entertain you. With that said, let's move on to the mixed aspects of the film. And the big one here is that the movie, in its efforts to entertain, it doesn't really have any rules. And what I mean by that is normally most movies out there, pretty early on, you kind of establish the world that you're in, how things function, and what the tone is. This movie doesn't do that. It just kind of shifts its tone around the type of humor very quickly. So in the first 10 minutes, there's a bunch of little gags where Dora looks at the camera and starts talking at the camera, which I assume is a reference to the TV show. And then her parents are like, why is she doing this? I mean, I bet this is a phase she's gonna grow out of. So you think, oh, it's gonna be like this meta, self-aware type of movie. But it's not that. That's just a kind of a throwaway joke at the beginning. And then there's some jokes that kind of like direct references to the TV show, as if she's playing out the TV show in her mind. And it does that a few times, but then it drops that, it abandons that. And then there's this whole thing about, do animals in this movie talk? And the answer is yes, when the movie wants them to, and the rest of the time they don't. And you tie that also back to, like, is Dora just making some of this stuff up? A lot of it's really unclear. And I say this is kind of mixed because some of it's entertaining. Like, it'll make you laugh. It'll make for an exciting situation at certain points in times. Like, it gets the reaction out of you that you want when it does this stuff, but it's a movie that just has no rules. It just does whatever it does to try and put a grin on your face, which I can appreciate the effort, but it's a little bit of a lazy way to put a grin on top of my face. With that said, let's move on to the bad. Kind of really struggled on what to say about the bad on this one, because obviously it's not a great film. It's not trying to win any awards. It's just trying to entertain children. And so it's really easy to nitpick, oh, well, this was really predictable. Well, it's predictable for me because I'm in my late 30s and it's targeting 7-year-olds. And so there's a lot of things about the movie that if you perceive it from your age as an adult or something like that, you can nitpick anything about this movie. I think just in general, it's a movie that did a lot of lazy things to try and entertain the audience and to tell its story. I mean, it's a very stock, the parents get lost. There's certain twists, turns, reveals that are, the obvious things that you put in movies like this. You move into the third act, it has all the things that you expect. I mean, it gets very Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade for about 10 minutes in the film. I mean, it's all pretty obvious what it's doing with the film. Some of the humor, they're walking on quicksand and it makes fart noises, and so they're like talking about I ate beans last night. That's the sense of humor in this movie. There's a whole scene about a girl going poo in the woods, and then they sing a song about poo in the woods. Very low-hanging fruit. That's kind of the problem here. Does it do its job? Absolutely. Did they do it kind of the easiest way possible? Yeah, they did. In closing, obviously this is not a movie targeting someone of my age, so I evaluate a film like this as a parent, and do I want my kids to watch it? It's definitely not the best thing or the thing I would most want them to watch, but it's certainly something I would be okay watching with them again. Overall, it's good enough family entertainment, so I'll give it a B-. It's a 6.5 on the entertainment scale. There's no reason to rush out to see this in the theater, but if it shows up on Netflix or at Redbox and you've got kids, it's probably gonna be a pretty good time for your family. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.